Okay, so theoretically, I'm live, but I can't tell. Oh no, I can't see anything. Go back to my channel. Oh, it looks like I am live. Go back to my channel. Oh, it looks like I am live. All right, hi folks. This is the first time I am using Restream here. So I don't even know how to keep track of all this. I don't see any, I can't see the comments without switching back and forth. Give me a moment here. Like I said, I'm sorry. This is the first time that I am doing this. Now, in order for me to watch this, I would need a third monitor. I don't have a third monitor. Okay. Sorry. All right. So today I am going to cover a couple of different news stories. If any of you are here, can you know if you can hear me? I said this is a totally new setup. I don't know if my audio is okay. I'm running a couple of different monitors and I have headphones in. Can anybody just let me know how this sounds? I see you watching. I see you guys are watching. All right, I guess I'm just going to assume that it sounds okay if there's anything. All right, so this story was a tough one for me because I just a couple of weeks ago learned who Kevin Samuels was. And I found that out through actually one of you guys, one of my wonderful subscribers told me to check him out. So I have spent maybe the last 3 to 4 weeks binge watching a bunch of his videos because he would have something that are called smoke shows, which you can call in and disagree with him. So I thought I'd study him a whole bunch and then call in and maybe we could have a productive conversation. So I could, because I'd say I probably agree with about 90% of what he's talked about and what he said. But let me give you a little more background about this. So yes, a lot of people feel like he is a polarizing figure for his comments about black women, and unfortunately he died at the age of 56. Samuel's mother, Beverly Samuels Birch, confirmed her son's death to NBC News. Although she declined to share details, Samuels Birch added that she learned of her son's death from social media. That was a terrible thing for social media to put out, she said. I didn't even know. I hadn't even been notified. All I'm doing is requesting that people pray for us. And guys, that's really sad. I mean, that is so sad to learn about something like that from social media. Per a police report, Samuels was taken to a hospital in Atlanta on Thursday, May 5th, after authorities responded to a call about an unresponsive male on the floor of his apartment. The call was made by a woman who said she'd met Samuels the previous night, had gone back to his apartment, had spent the night with him. The woman said Samuels began complaining of chest pain in the following morning, and when she tried to help him, he fell. The woman reportedly called 911 and had the emergency operator contact the front desk of Samuels' building for a defibrillator. After an ambulance arrived, Samuels was taken to Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. Oh, I mean, that's rough. That's really sad to kind of pass and not even know the person that you're with. But in some ways, you could say that he died doing what he loved, which was probably a 20-some-year-old girl or woman. Sorry. bed. A self-described, I don't like this article that much. This one's pretty negative. There's also another one that's really negative. He's not a self-described image consultant. He actually was an image consultant and an influencer, and he'd amassed 1.4 million subscribers on his YouTube channel since joining in May of 2015, while his videos have garnered over 295 million views as of this publication. All right, so I'm going to check my other screen here to see if anyone said anything about. Oh, hey, Mr. Chuck says I must be shadow banned heavy. Well, I guess at least you can hear me, so that's pretty cool. Let me go back to this other article about him, which is also really negative. It's sad. I couldn't really find a positive article about the man. So what I've learned about Kevin Samuels and his overall message, and that's just from me binge watching a bunch of his videos for a few weeks. So by no means have I been somebody who's watched him for years. So I don't, I'm not like the foremost expert on him, but from what I garnered, what he did was he was a big champion of people in the Black community getting married. He pushed for marriage. He pushed for people to have families, but he also pushed for people, particularly women, to have realistic expectations. So he would have people call in, and every woman there wanted a quote unquote, or just about every woman wanted a quote unquote high value man, which was somebody who made at least $100,000 or more. And he said that that's the top 10% of earners. And it didn't matter like how many kids she had or how much she weighed or what she looked like or what she had done with her life or what kind of person she was. Like everybody wanted the same thing. And he would point out to women that a lot of you guys, like if you don't get married, you're going to wind up being homeless or you're going to have to work until the day you die. And you should have more realistic expectations. So he got a lot of flack for, as soon as a woman would call in, he would say, what's your age and what's your dress size, and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, what you look like just out of the shower with no makeup on, with your natural hair. And so time after time after time, what would happen is you'd get a woman who was, of course you get all ages, but there were ones that he was particularly kind of, I don't know if he was so much focusing on them, but they seemed to appear a lot. And so it would be a woman who was maybe 37. She had 3 kids, maybe 3 different baby daddies. And she would say, hey, and then he'd ask, well, how much do you weigh? And she's, I'm 250 pounds. And I want one of these top earning men. And he would try to explain to them, sometimes in not so nice terms, that for every one of these men, there are thousands of women who want these top earning men. Why would he choose you? Because according to his assessment, high value men, they don't want women who already have children. He said sometimes it's okay if you're a divorcee, but they don't want somebody who has a bunch of different babies' daddies or people who have prominent tattoos in places. And they're also not looking for somebody who is 37. He would talk about women's biological clocks, and men of that caliber, they tend to want legacies, which means you need a younger woman so you can have at least 3 children. And he would tell these women, hey, look, you need to look for somebody who is more on your level. I mean, and he'd say, you're average at best to below average, and the average Black man, I think, makes around $40,000 to $45,000. And so that's somebody that you need to be looking for, and forget about looking for a high value guy. You're not going to have a Cinderella story, especially because, even Cinderella didn't have a whole bunch of kids, and, one of their baby daddies is in jail. And so this kind of commentary, it enraged a lot of people. And that's one of the sad things I'm seeing, is people just being really, really, really disrespectful online and celebrating his death, which is just really classless and tasteless, and just sad, because he was still a human being after all. And man, I really did want to call I really did want to call into the smoke show, because I was okay with the part of his message where he is promoting marriage, because I'm definitely pro marriage. I have strong Christian values. Let's see. I am okay. I'm just reading in chat here. Okay. Yeah, strong Christian values. I'm very, very much pro marriage. But where I started to really strongly disagree with him, well, two things. One was, okay, I know that people talk and communicate differently, and there are all kinds of different communication styles, and I'm most definitely a person who, like, I'm most definitely not the greatest communicator in the world, but he would tear down women a lot, and some people respond to that positively, and some people don't. Like, if you would go after people like that, and I know, yes, they are calling in and they are subjecting themselves to this. It's not like he's hunting people down in their homes or knocking on their doors, to give them his version of a reality check. But there are ways to do that, maybe without tearing people down and making people feel depressed. And yeah, I know facts don't care about your feelings and things like that. But one of the things I didn't like was, if a woman said that he's like, "Oh, what's your plan for the future?" And she'd say, "I want to get into real estate." And he'd start laughing, and he's like, "Hey guys, here's another one. They're all talking about real estate. Everyone's going to do real estate, and nobody's ever going to do real estate." Well, the thing is, like, I'm actually one of the ones who actually did real estate. I've done that. I've been a homeowner. I purchased a duplex. I fixed it up. I sold it. I made a nice hefty profit. If somebody came to me and they said, I want to do this real estate thing. Also, though, in my family, both my father and my uncle, they purchased homes and fixed them up and sold them. So it was just, for me, it was just like a natural kind of thing, because I grew up around that kind of stuff. But I would encourage people to do that. Or I would say, hey, if you're interested in that, start off with the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. I wouldn't start laughing at somebody who said that they wanted to try to get into real estate, especially since, I guess, the money that I made in real estate basically became our nest egg. And that was me, bring that in. So, and it's something I'm proud of, even though I don't do it anymore. It was still a pretty cool accomplishment. So there's that aspect. And then my other issue, I think, that I had with his takes on things was that he had a completely different set of rules for high value men, which meant, he said, if you want to be married to, a guy who makes $100,000 or more, then you need to expect to share them. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. No, no. And he's like, yeah, well, if you're making more than the average guy, then you should be able to have a whole bunch of different women. And as long as you're not bringing home any diseases and you're not bringing home extra children, that's perfectly okay. And that's the part that I really wanted to talk with him about, but I guess I'll never have that opportunity, because it's such like a weird fantasy world that he was creating for people to think that you're just going to go out and have as many women as you want. And then like, you're going to guarantee that you're not going to bring home a disease. Like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no way to guarantee that. Same thing, you know, like, I'm sure you're probably, you know, using prophylactics, but those aren't 100%. Those break too. You can't guarantee that you're not going to have children unless perhaps you are snipped. But even then, those types of surgeries can undo themselves. Like, I know a couple, and the woman got her tubes tied, and the husband had a vasectomy, and they had another child afterwards. So these kind of things happen. And I strongly disagree with that. Plus, you know, one man and one woman, that is the formula that is going to give you the best outcome for a happy family and happy children. Women aren't going to be happy with their men, like running out and you know, sleeping around with a whole bunch of different women. That's not really a formula for happiness. He also, like, he cut it off at a certain range. And yeah, like, I'm younger than my husband, but I don't know. I mean, to be like in your late 50s and still pursuing women in their 20s, when you do that kind of thing, not that, of course, hey, everybody's an adult. You can do that, but like, my fear is like not understanding that women in their 20s, first of all, if you're in your 50s, you're not only old enough to be somebody's dad, but you're in like grandpa age there. And I think you're missing that. Women think guys, you know, when you have that much of an age difference, they think you're creepy. Like, I hate to tell you this, but they think you're creepy, and you're kind of setting yourself up for your future wife to basically have an affair with the pool boy. But yeah, I don't think that issue was ever really addressed. But overall, I'd say definitely he was a net positive to the community, pushing that, hey, we do need to get married. And fatherless homes, that's a huge problem for the African American community. And anyone who is pushing like a pro-marriage message is probably going to be okay with me, at least with certain points. So yeah, I'm actually really bummed out that he's gone. I liked listening to him, but also it's weird. Like, watching his videos never made me feel good. They actually like I'd actually be a little bummed out sometimes after watching them. And after I'd watch him, I'd just be there like, oh, you know, I'm never gonna get a man. I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life. Oh, and then my husband would walk in and he'd be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry, oops, yeah, no, I'm good. Forgot for a moment. I just I got a little too involved there. Let my drifted off, let my mind wander. I don't know. I guess that's why over here I try to mix things up with serious topics and comedy. I never want to be too dark or too serious, because that's kind of depressing. All right. I see a couple more comments here. Hello, John Weaver. Oh, you watched his podcast every now and again. Yeah, he did speak a lot of hard truths. That is for sure. And yeah, Mr. Chuck says, your wife just turned 67. You have been married for 44 years, and she has never been more beautiful. Oh, that is so sweet. I'm blessed. We do go to the gym, and she outshines most 30-year-olds. Did I say I'm blessed? Yes, you did. That's so wonderful. I'm so happy for you. That's really awesome. So, wow. Just so sad. So sad. That guy was just taken way too soon. I'm told that he had a national tour that he had planned or in the works. He was going to go across the country spreading his message. Oh, another accomplishment that I think that he had that is worth noting is that he had like a private group, and it was basically of singles, and a couple of, I think, engagements, if not marriages, came out of that group. So that was great. So he would pre-screen people, and he would just and he was looking for professional, like classy people who were all marriage minded, and he's created relationships that are probably going to turn into, if they already haven't turned into, marriages and children. And he's helped create families. Like, that's so awesome and so wonderful and so positive. And I think, you just, man, it's just so sad. It's so sad. But yeah, these NBC articles here, this is so negative. I mean, look at this quote. Kevin Samuels made a career off of shamelessly disgracing Black women for profit. He emboldened the most toxic individuals to project tired and harmful narratives about Black women. Journalist Ernest Owens wrote, "Dead or alive, what a disgraceful life to live. That's all I've got for that misogynist." I mean, come on. Really? You couldn't even pretend to say anything nice? Have you learned anything? I mean, did you bother to learn anything about him? Did you bother to watch any of his videos? It's like, these people don't have the ability to be critical thinkers. They don't have the ability to eat the meat and spit out the bones. It's very sad. All right, so I guess that is it for my coverage of Kevin Samuels. I am going to move over to a couple of other topics here. And also because I want to test to see if you guys can hear this if I play it. So basically, if you haven't seen this, these crazy leftist journalists, they have doxed the conservative Supreme Court justices. And this is going to be Peter Doocy asking a question to Jen Psaki and her response.
Just about moving forward, these activists posted a map with the home addresses of the Supreme Court justices. Is that the kind of thing this president wants to help your side make their point?
Look, I think the president's view is that there's a lot of passion, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness from many, many people across this country about what they saw in that leaked document.
Just about moving forward, these activists post.
Right. So no condemnation. Nope. Everything's fine. It's wonderful. They're just really passionate. Yeah. This is just more of the same. Of course, I'm sure everybody would be all up in arms if the same thing was done to her, or the same thing was done to the liberal justices. All right. Now, showing once again that Black lives don't really matter. We have DaveChapelle Attack. Gascon's office declines to file felony charges against the armed suspect. Yeah, no felony charges will be filed against the suspect who tackled Dave Chappelle on stage at the Hollywood Bowl on Tuesday. The Office of Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon announced on Thursday. What a mess. So right down here we have pictures of the weapon that he had, which is it's a fake gun, but there's a knife that kind of pops out of it. It says Lee was carrying a replica handgun with a large knife blade inside when he rushed the stage and tackled Chappelle to the ground. Security, along with Jamie Foxx, who was in attendance, then pulled the suspect off the comedian and tackled him. Yep, Chris Rock was right there and made that awesome joke, which was that Will Smith? and then Dave Chappelle said it was a trans man, which is also really funny if you've been paying attention to how the trans community is all up in arms because they think that they are not above being joked about when, sorry, Dave Chappelle makes jokes about everyone. He's made jokes that I've been like, oh, come on, man. Like, why'd you have to make that joke? It was something about like, oh, he basically made a joke about women over a certain age not being attractive or worth anything, so it was, and I'm sure his wife is also over that age. I don't want to say the exact joke because it's a little bit more vulgar than what I say on this channel, but I was like, oh. And then I went back, and then he said the next joke, and I went right back to laughing. Yes, we have more instances of Black lives not mattering. Oh, but maybe I should have said a little bit more about this Dave Chappelle and them not pressing any charges. They're basically just setting this precedent that it's okay to attack people in LA or in California. And I've seen now Howie Mandel says that he's scared. This is just like, I understand not pressing charges against the guy who's going after Dave Chappelle because that's a political thing. I don't understand, even though it's wrong. I understand that crazy, like, super far left mentality. I don't understand the part though where they don't do anything about Chris Rock, because I don't think of Chris Rock as being particularly political. I mean, outside of just, hey, maybe it's just that weird celebrity worship kind of thing. I don't know, but I don't want to live in a place where the district attorney is telling people or signaling that it's okay to commit crimes, violent crimes against performers, and but if you do, we'll just give you a couple of misdemeanor slap on the wrist there. Disgraceful. All right, so this is just a funny video. I love this video. This a continuation of Black Lives Don't Matter to the far left extremists.
Matter or just some Black lives? Black lives matter or just some Black lives? The Black lives killed by Black men matter, right? Yes? The Black babies killed in the abortions clinics matter, right? Thought so. The Black...
Yep. Silence. So no. See, Black lives don't really matter to them, do they? Nope. No, it's just people pushing that Margaret Sanger eugenics program. I'm not here for that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Madison Cawthorn. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if you want to see it, but somebody dropped, it's essentially, it's almost, I don't know if it counts as revenge porn, but it's pretty close to it. But it is a video of Madison Cawthorn without clothes on, doing some weird things. I mean, it looks like a stupid video that he made with his friends, which is what he said here. He said, a new hit against me just dropped years ago. In this video, I was being crass with a friend, trying to be funny. We were acting foolish and joking. That's it. I'm not backing down. I told you there would be a drip drip campaign. Blackmail won't win. We will. So that's cool. It's not. The weird thing about the video is it's a little homo gay there. I don't know why some guys like to joke around with their friends like that. I don't do that, but I could see that it wasn't a serious video. But it doesn't look good. But you know what looks a lot worse are the rhinos and people constantly selling us out and taking money from China and hooking up with Chinese spies and doing insider trading, and, and helping ship our jobs away and destroying our economy. All that, to me, that's what really looks bad. And I see that they have this crazy, crazy, crazy campaign that they're running against Madison Cawthorn. They're trying to make it so that he can't even run again. They're trying to go after him judicially. It's insane. And this is stemming from him talking about those cocaine-fueled orgies that he'd been invited to. So, yeah, none of that is going to change how I feel about him. If I was in North Carolina, I would still vote for him. I know a hit piece or when I see one, and I'm just not falling for that. Oh, and I don't even know if you're allowed to say the name of this movie, but Dinesh D'Souza dropped a new movie. I suggest, if you have the money, I know times are hard, but if you can, you should probably do your best to try and watch it. Or at least read about it. Read about it and find out what's going on in this movie. It's a super important movie to further understand what happened in the thing that no one's allowed to talk about that I just got that I just got out of YouTube jail for an old video. But yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. And of course, everything is fine and wonderful when dissension is not allowed. When YouTube feels fit to delete videos of state Senate hearings and of our congressmen speaking. Sure, yeah, then there's no dissent. There's no dissent when you get rid of it. I'm just tired of that kind of nonsense. Okay, well, I guess that is all I am going to have for this evening. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. I am now going to try to figure out how to stop recording. All right. Bye, everybody. Love you guys.